Hey, it's Mega, aka the Art Messiah, here to save you from your art sins. Welcome back to another live art stream. Today, we're going to be doing some anatomy practice and some pose drawing. So, if that sounds interesting to you, feel free to grab a pencil, pen, or some paper. And if you're watching this after the fact, just go ahead and pause until you're ready. But we are going to be doing 30-second drawings to start off and warm up, and then from there we're just gonna be drawing poses, but we're gonna try to work with different body shapes and sizes, just to be able to practice drawing from imagination but still based off a reference. So it's kind of a nice in between to be able to flex your muscles, no pun intended, and try to draw the anatomy out where the bones are going and stuff, but then being able to draw on the layer of muscle, fat, and tissue as well. So we'll see how it goes, but we're going to be trying to draw from multiple references, but again, we're starting off with one of my favorite websites called Pose Maniacs. And the reason that it's so good is because you can rotate the model, so you can get a better idea of the forms and geometry. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. I'm going to double check that the stream is indeed streaming, but yeah, once I have that pulled up, the chat will be available as well. So welcome in, and let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if you guys would like the poses shown on screen. But yeah, 30 seconds. Let's see how much we've improved, if we've improved at all. Remember that one line technique I was sharing with you guys earlier? Feel free to kind of make use of that as we're going through and doing these 30-second drawings. It's going to make you a little bit quicker and also get you to loosen up a bit. I always like to start with the shoulders, and that kind of gives you some direction for how like the pose is kind of angled. It gives you something to kind of start off with, so that's how I like to begin these kinds of drawings. Now they're throwing some hard angles here at us. But that's good practice because for comic drawing specifically, you want to draw dynamic angles as much as you can, and a lot of the times you're going to be finding out that you're going to be drawing characters with interesting camera angles, and those different types of camera angles can really boost your storytelling capabilities. So you want to be able to be comfortable with drawing basically the human figure at any angle, in any pose. And really the only way to get good at that is to study. So if you think you've studied enough, just keep on studying, and then don't forget though to apply what you study. Go back and continue to work on that comic, or that illustration, whatever it may be, so you can actually apply that information. But yeah, you want it to get to a point where it feels redundant, where you know what's happening, you know what's going on. There's not much guesswork, right? And I know that probably seems a little bit, or it seems probably silly when you guys watch these types of streams where I'm practicing this stuff and I'm saying the same thing over and over again. And the reason is, though, is that you need to start committing these principles and practices to memory. And for me, I commit stuff to memory through repetition. Everyone has kind of a different strong suit or approach to how they pick up information, but that's just something that has worked for me in kind of the academic realm of things, and so I've kind of carried that over into my art practice as well. But I do feel like it can be generally pretty useful for people, repetition. So if anatomy is something that you struggle with, maybe it's because you need just some more repetitions and to give yourself a little bit more grace while you're drawing anatomy. So look how I kind of kept everything loose. It wasn't exactly one line or anything like that, but you can see how I'm like starting to find the rhythms between the shapes and whatnot, and get the feeling of the pose more than anything else, even more than proportion. I feel like proportion just comes with time after you keep on finding the rhythm between the different body elements. And so while you're doing this, you're also trying to create shorthands or ways to remember how things connect together or look. So just keep that in mind as you're creating these quick drawings. You're trying to find what are the landmarks. They can be boning landmarks, but you can also make up your own, the ones that make the most sense to you, and help you kind of get the pose and gesture down. So I started going a little bit too slow, so I'm going to try to start speeding up again. And again, using that one line technique to get my speed back and get my rhythm back. And you want to basically get it to a point where 30 seconds actually feels long. Like you don't even need that much time to get, the entire pose down. That's when you've kind of have a pretty good feel for getting poses down quickly, and that's going to help you out when you're like out and about drawing, and you want to actually draw from real life, you will have a good method of capturing movement and detail quickly that you can always go back and refine later, the pose, gesture, and shapes and everything like that. But you want to have the method to be able to capture what you see, because whether you're capturing what you see in real life or from your head, there's a lot of similarities between how you have to think about how you're representing 3D forms on a 2D platform, or well, a 2D sheet, or whatever the case may be. But drawing is a 2D medium, so you have to figure out what that translation really looks like. Alright, so I think we're gonna do about a couple more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've already done 6 so far. Let's do 2 more, and then we'll start going into a little bit longer ones. And then we're gonna start messing with like body shape sizes a little bit. Okay, so I just realized that was more than 30 seconds. I was kind of wondering why we were able to complete that. So it said 30-second settings, but if you click on it, then you can actually change the time. So instead of 30, it was 90. So we had about a minute and a half. We're gonna change it up to 180, I believe, and we're gonna do some more quick ones, but now we're going to try changing up the proportions and weight a little bit. We're just gonna create a new document for that to get started on. Yo, what's up, BoxProg? Welcome into the chat. Hopefully everything is going well for you today. We are just doing some gesture drawing and anatomy drawing, so if that sounds interesting to you, feel free to join along as we work on these poses. But other than that, welcome in, and how are things going? Also, I just realized I hit 5,000 subscribers, so thank you guys so much. We were, I don't know, maybe like 50 to 100 away last week, so thank you guys so much for coming to hang out and support the channel. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and jump right into this. Okay, so for this specifically, we are just trying to like draw a little bit more weight on these characters. That's really the only goal that I have. So we're gonna pause that. So I'm trying to the best of my abilities, add a little bit of weight. Okay, we're gonna do one more of these, and then we're gonna draw from like series I like or something like that, and probably cool down. I know it's a shorter session, but I just wanted to get some daily practice in and, you know, hold this accountability. I've been doing pretty well in terms of consistency, so I figured even if I'm, just doing practice, I think that's still good to be in a habit of. And, you got to practice what you preach. And I always tell you guys that, practice makes better, and you need this kind of training if you want to be able to do comics and you want to be able to draw from your imagination. Welcome in, Beam, and welcome in, Alina. Nice to see you guys. Hey bro, you haven't been around, man. You good? I've been around. I've been streaming every week. I haven't posted a video in a long time. But I've just been three things mainly. I've been working my 9 to 5, working on cosplay, and then working on some artwork for some friends. And so just kind of a bit of stuff going on. But I'm good. How about yourself? How are things going? How are you guys doing tonight? Okay, I'm trying to get like a normal looking pose. Downside about pose maniacs is that sometimes you just be getting random poses that you might not feel like drawing. But they also have a lot of good like action poses and stuff too. The best part about it really honestly is the fact that you're able to rotate things. Okay, we're gonna try this one. Although the angle, I don't know, the angle's not that good to show proportion and weight. Although that's probably a good reason to try drawing it. We'll try this one. It's a dude kind of leaning forward, menacing, and it's another crunched up pose, which I wasn't really looking to do, but I think it'll be okay to practice what I need to practice. So we're gonna give it a shot, and we're gonna start off very noodly like this as we find our shapes and our proportions. Okay, and I think we've kind of found those things now. And so we're gonna do two things here. First of all, I'm gonna blow this up a little bit. And I'm just gonna take an eraser. I'm gonna lightly go over. This is what I would consider like a kneaded eraser. I use this in traditional drawing a lot. And you kind of just make your lines a little bit lighter, so that way you can go in for the final pass. Sometimes I like just working on one layer because it forces you to think a little bit more about your lines and drawing, and it just translates better into drawing in real life as well. Okay, so we're trying to learn how to draw this weight. We're gonna get kind of a, this kind of will tuck in behind there, and then I feel like this will kind of rest. We're gonna get kind of this shape. I feel like you have to be very mindful over the overlaps when you're trying to draw bigger characters, but honestly I'm still not very good at it yet, and that's why I'm practicing. And so when you make bad drawings, quote unquote, like, don't think of it as a bad drawing, think of it as something you can come back to later and realize, you know, where you were going wrong, and then you can do your second pass at it, but with new information. Okay. So another thing that happens is that everything kind of gets rounded out when you have bigger arms. But around the joints, there's not a lot of fat. So what you're gonna realize is that the fat kind of kind of makes all the joints disappear a little bit. And so right here, I'm trying to think about how maybe things will be folding, and I feel like you might get a little bit of creasing around the elbow area, so I'm trying to be mindful of that without making it look weird, which I am struggling with right now. so you're not really gonna see the clavicle bone, which is okay. But yeah, just practice different things out, try it out, make mistakes, try again, and learn from different resources and sources, and most importantly, have fun with this, you know? Alright, so that's definitely not perfect. Not even that good, but anyways, we got that practice in. So now, instead of going from imagination, let's jump back to kind of working off reference again. Yo, John the Fisherman. Yo, long time no talk. How's it going? Also, how's like comic making going and stuff? We haven't chatted in a minute. I'm sure you've been busy. I've been seeing your stuff on Instagram and whatnot, so. Okay, so let's. We want to draw things like Hulk. Let's see if we can find like some like hulking kind of characters, because I don't know, I feel like that's going to be fun to draw right now. It's going to help me, I think, understand kind of like the muscles and stuff a little bit better. I'm telling you guys though, it is getting so frustrating being on like Pinterest, or really just trying to do any image search online. There's just so much AI stuff out there, and a lot of it has not a very good sense of anatomy. And so unless you have a trained eye and you can correct it, then it's no good. And for, you know, someone who's learning, or for beginner or an intermediate person who's trying to find quality reference material, I probably would recommend finding like a photo set or a pose set from some source that is trustworthy and just has some better quality. And I always encourage drawing from like real life rather than something that's already been stylized. But of course, drawing from, you know, anatomy that's been stylized can help too define your style, because you can find things that you may like, but definitely don't use it as a crutch. Alright, I'm not finding anything that I like, so we are going to, let's do this. Page Painter Draws, welcome in. I think we have about 10 minutes left of this session. We are practicing anatomy today. Thanks, man. I've been good. Working on a couple manga comic projects at the moment when I'm not working full time at the main job. Dude, I feel it. I'm still in that grind too, and working on trying to balance out those different things, the work and the artwork and the writing and everything in between. Are you doing any Are any of those manga comics, are they collaborations with a writer? Or are you doing everything by yourself? I know when we talked last, you had a lot of like lore and characters, and you were doing all the writing and whatnot. But I know things change. I know things change with time, and just curious if you still got a similar workflow, or you've changed up your workflow. I am still a solo artist and author, but I definitely, maybe not super soon, but sometime in the future, I do want to do more collaboration type stuff. All right, so let's see if we can find some Hulk images to draw from. We're gonna do Hulk. Let's see if this is a better result. It's a little bit better, but not much better. Let's see here. Alright, let's try this one out. Working on one right now, so I'm grateful I have a bit of time. Saw you were live and thought I'd stop by. And yeah, it's been a while. Thanks for hopping in. My solo project is all me, but my buddy is paying me to do the art for a story he wrote all himself. Okay, that's what's up. Got some commissioned work. So while I'm still writing mine right now, I'm leveling up my skills by working on his. That is, I think that can be like a nice change of pace to be able to focus on just like the aspect or the art aspect of it and just focus on one aspect. That can kind of give you, okay, well, I'll speak from personal experience. That kind of gave me a little bit of like clarity maybe, but it helped me start to think a little bit more about like the scenes, the camera angles, and how I was translating the writing to the art. Because when you're doing the writing yourself, you kind of already have an idea, but I feel like it feels different when you're like creating art based off of someone else like idea and vision. And I don't know, I guess I only had like a short stint that I did. I'm kind of helping out a friend flesh out some, and it was just some like storyboards or thumbnails, because he was wanting to do a comic. But yeah, I do feel like I was like putting on a little bit more of like the director's hat and being able to just more so focus on like the art and paneling and things and whatnot. And then that started helping me put that information and ideas and what I was learning towards like how I work on my own. And just to be honest, it was just like the change of pace that allowed my, I think, brain to switch into like a different gear. And that can be helpful in finding some breakthroughs in the art process. So anyways, that was a bunch of rambling. How is it going for you? Is it fun to be able to work on other people's stuff? But yeah, I was also gonna say, like, I've seen a lot of like your practices, your drawing practices and stuff, and it is always amazing to see how much you're improving every time I get a chance to see your art. I'm not super active on social media right now. I'm kind of just like in my own zone type of deal, but I do get to see some of y'all's work from time to time when I actually spend some time kind of scrolling through. But yeah, right now I'm really trying to like cultivate a healthy relationship with art, and with the writing and stuff as well. So like I've been, even though I am working on a comic right now, I'm not being that like visible or public about it, but I am sharing it with like people that are close to me and just a few people. Like I've been a little bit more clear with myself, like who I'm drawing for and like why I'm drawing, and the main thing is obviously for myself, but it's always been fun to like not necessarily, you know, have a whole bunch of readers or anything like that. It's always been more fun for me to like brainstorm with people that I love, like I don't know, just brainstorming and having ideas and stuff. So like me and my brother will brainstorm like all the time whenever I have story ideas and stuff. It's just fun to share, and like regardless of like completing the comic or whatever, like I feel like a lot of the fun is in the creation of it and like sharing it with people that are near you. And then at the end of the day, I feel like then for me it's like, yeah, I'm gonna push it out to like more people, market it and stuff. But I think I like the development stage a lot, and just kind of keeping it close. Anyways, a lot of rambling again. Ever heard of BFDI? Is that like, no, I haven't. Is that an artist, like visual artist, or is it a music artist? Definitely let me know what's going on with that. So I'm still not at a level I'm comfortable with for my own manga. No, I totally get you on that. Like being comfortable and confident and like trying to make sure your art stacks up to what you imagine in your head can be so difficult sometimes. It's fun and cool that he had all his own basic storyboards, so he drew himself as well. So I'm sort of an autopilot with all the cinematography I've been studying this past year or two, and that I think that's cool too, because I feel like at that point in time, like you're enhancing, and like you're saying, you get to be on autopilot a little bit. So like you're both learning, and I think that's why I kind of said like the directing kind of side of things, because as a director, you're kind of like an editor, like someone is kind of coming with to you with work, and you're kind of you know, directing it. You know, you're manipulating it in a way that, you know, you're trying to bring out the vision for it. So that's cool. That's cool. And also, the cinematography, I've been seeing those studies. I've seen you've been like going through anime and movies and like taking scenes and stuff. I need to get back to that. Like that type of stuff is so helpful. Like I've been thumbnailing out this comic and whatnot, and when I start to thumbnail and like work through comic stuff, I just realize how much I don't know. Like when I'm doing like studies and things like this, I'm like, oh wow, like, you know, I guess I can draw a little bit, like angles, this and that, sure. But when you're pulling all of this from your head and you're trying to think about the cinematography, what's the story you're telling, the dialogue, where is that being placed, the camera angles, the shots, like you're considering everything, you realize how much that you have not practiced. Like, it's kind of crazy. World building is super fun, but man, it feels good to have a bunch of finished pages to read. For sure. My buddy's been posting each scene with SFX and voice acting too. Okay, dang. All right. He's been making the music as well. Dude, I love it. Uh, post a link if you can. Like if he's already uploading it online, share a link. I'd love to check it out and listen to it. Cause yeah, I think you know as well. Like I do a little bit of composing. Like I've played piano for a pretty long time. I'm not like great at it or anything, but I know enough where I can create melodies and start to get my ideas out there. So I love hearing how other people compose and think through the song making process. Yeah, being a manga artist is so many jobs. It's nice to only have to do a few that might even be your favorite. Literally, for real. Like, and I've been trying to break up my process so that I can kind of get that feeling of just focusing on one thing at a time. But it's like, yeah, part of me wants to like work in a team type of thing so I can like not have to think about so many things at once. But it's also very engaging, like when you are thinking through everything. I have just found that it's helpful to have a collaborator for sure, just to kind of make it more fun to have someone to bounce ideas off of. Okay, let's kind of start closing up on this pose. This has been fun, but these are supposed to be like quick renders, you know, just for the practice. Now this is the type of stuff that I might do like before like a warm-up, you know, before I start drawing my own stuff, but unfortunately tonight it's just going to be this and this practice. But again, I just wanted to have this stream as accountability for myself and, you know, for other people too that may struggle with like actually sitting down and drawing and like finding that motivation. Sometimes, you know, you may not have the motivation, but sit down, try drawing for like 10 minutes, see what happens. If you don't like the stuff, it's totally fine, but it's great to at least, you know, see what you can do. You might have a really enjoyable session and all you needed to do was kind of pick up the pen. So it's very focused on the shapes. I've been getting a lot more into lighting and perspective lately. I literally just listed the jobs today that are equivalent in film production. A solo manga artist is a director, cinematographer, editor, screenwriter, lighting designer, production designer, sound designer, and hair and makeup artist. Literally all of those things. And that is on top of actually just learning how to draw itself. So it is quite encompassing, and like each of those things in and of itself is you know, a whole new list of skills. You know, when you were talking about like a screenwriter and then like learning to understand dialogue and writing characters, and then you have to research and observe, you know, how people act in the real world and like understanding the core of all of that. Yes, all of that. And you know, it's like a never ending thing of learning, but that's the cool part about it. I feel like taking on something like this really elevates your ability to comprehend and also engage with the like world around you. Like you become less of a bystander and more of a, okay, let's actually take a look and observe, you know, all these different aspects of life and what kind of compelling story do you want to tell to express some kind of emotion. And I feel like you just become a little bit more in tune like with yourself, but also being able to empathize and sympathize and empathize with other people too, you know. Yeah, super grateful I'm a nerd about all of it. I feel like you have to. I feel like you have to be a little bit of a nerd, a little bit obsessive, perhaps, in order to have that kind of dedication and focus. Like you have to be able to be a little bit obsessive. Otherwise, you just wouldn't be able to will your way through it, to like learn and put all these different things together. But I think the fact that it is so dynamic that you do have to learn so much is my enjoyment of it. Like I've always enjoyed learning, and also teaching as well. Like I've tutored different things throughout my life, but it's just kind of fun to see how things tick. And in doing so, I feel like it gives you a lot of I don't want to say power but it gives you a little bit of like power in terms of you become more active in your life, even if things are still happening to you. I feel like, yeah, you get a little bit of that. Yo, what's up? We are about to start closing up here, but today was all about drawing anatomy, so you can review some of it if you would like to. We use something called empowerment. That's better, yes, because I feel like power is more of like an evil thing, like, ooh, I'm powerful now, but like empowerment is more so about like how you are elevating yourself, rather than like power being something that you it's like you, when I hear power, it's like usually over someone else, but empowerment is more of like you're powerful within yourself. Exactly. But yeah, so we were drawing anatomy today, listening to some chill music, listening to some of the music that I have composed actually. And these were, I thought I was doing 30-second poses. These were actually 90 seconds. I was wondering why I was having extra time. But anyways, we're just working. We used a website called Pose Maniacs. I'll post it for you guys. I'm sure a lot of you may already know about it, but I know I've gotten some recent new subscribers, so I just always have to put it out there so you guys have some good resources to use on your practice journeys. Thanks for the kind comment. I remember, it's so much easier now, but I remember like I had so many questions about learning to draw and like how people were creating like these amazing poses, and it seemed like it was like effortless. Little did I know that, you know, people have taken like classes, and then there was image sets and pose sets, and people were doing live drawing classes and this and that. Like I had no idea there was kind of so much to it, and so much training behind it. So as I became demystified, I wanted to demystify those things for you guys as well. And so that's what my channel is all about. I'm going to go ahead and just end there, maybe with some few announcements and whatnot. But again, my name is Mega, aka the Art Messiah. I create a webcomic called Ignition. You can read it on my website right now. And there's also a blog section where you can listen to my music, check out some of my art. So feel free to follow along. And if you're really interested, for those people that are really interested, check out my newsletter, because I talk about the updates about what projects I'm working on, what are the struggles, what are some things that I'm currently listening to or liking or I find helpful as an artist. So if you are a fellow artist or you like seeing the behind the scenes, then check out my newsletter. I try to make something every month, but it's give or take. Life is busy, life gets crazy, so it is what it is, but I think it is a pretty helpful resource. It is free to sign up. There is a paid version, but that's only if you want to get like stickers in the mail and whatnot. But it's free, completely free, and so is reading the webcomic. So please check it out. And you know, maybe leave a comment on like the first scene. See what I'm kind of cooking up. See what I'm trying to do. maybe leave a comment if you're feeling so obliged. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for coming out, chilling, hanging, and drawing with me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And again, until next time, peace, love, and deuces.